This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 29. Yahawashi answered, the first of all commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanahu, Yahweh, Achad, Aman.
Aman. Shalom.
Aman.
So as I said I would do, we're gonna go back into Obadiah. We left off at verse 11, and I think it is a good book to go back into because we see everything that's happening in the world. And Obadiah talks about the burden of Edom, or the vision of Edom. What we see in these times now is Esau rising to his pinnacle through us living in this time, how we were educated, the Enlightenment age, how he said, let's start off with that Malachi chapter 1, how he said, I am impoverished, but yet we shall return to build the desolate places. Because during the medieval times, or the Middle Age period, Esau was the actual serfs and Slavs, the people at the lowest of society, and blacks were in rulership. Blacks were the royalty of Europe.
Right.
Okay, for 1,000 years. And prior to the Greco-Roman rulership, blacks ruled as the Trojans, and the people all the way in Northern Ireland, England, and the Iberian Peninsula. Those were Israelite kingdoms. Okay, the Celts and the Gauls, the Goths, right? Those were Israelites. So what did Esau say when he was a serf and a Slav? He knew that when he was put into the bottomless pit, as we read in Revelation, that he had to return in a similar facet as Alexander the Greek and some of the Caesars, etc. How they built Rome and how they built Greece through what? The sword, because that's Esau's blessing. Okay, so we saw him come to power, right? When we were educated since we were kids. Enlightenment age put us in slavery, etc. I don't want to go down that road, but read that really quick.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
See, they will return, right? They will return and rebuild, and they don't have in their mind at all that they will be destroyed. Salakia. That's why we got good IT men like Nathan and brother Apayat get us back going, because I wouldn't know what to do. All right, so can y'all hear me? We good? We one in the chat. One in the chat. All right. So Malachi, Psalms 49 and 11. Con. Psalms 49 and 11. Esau said he is impoverished, right? But he will return and rebuild the desolate places, right? Go ahead.
Psalm chapter 49. And
Start from verse 10.
Verse 10. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person perish and leave their wealth to others.
See, the brutish person perishes and leaves their wealth to others. So they understand passing down inheritance, right? How did much of these corporations get built today? Through their wicked ancestors. And they said, you know what? They passed this down to us. And they were brutish men. They had substance and they were able to give it to their children. This is why Isaiah 14 and 21 comes into play. Prepare slaughter for his children, right? For the iniquity of the fathers. Well, the Lord got something coming for you, right? Go ahead.
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own name.
See, they believe that their dwelling place, their kingdom, is going to be established forever. What their fathers established and founded is going to be forever. A nouveau ordo seclorum, a new world order. But to their in you know their mistake, Abraham and what Isaac and what Jacob established as far as a faith and a priesthood, a religion, a nationality, that is going to be established forever. Okay? So Esau knows that we are that burdensome stone, like Zechariah prophesied in Zechariah 12, that they cannot move out of the way because we were framed by the word of God on the right hand, and they were framed by the word of God on the left hand to be destroyed, so that we can have an understanding of good and evil, right? Of just and unjust, righteousness and unrighteousness. And what that would do is that would plant hope in us for a paradise that we don't ever get back into this condition on the earth ever again. Adam will not lean to the left hand and speak to the serpent through Eve. That's not ever going to be a problem anymore. When Yahawashi puts this down, we will all understand in that day what we are to be, who we are to be on this earth. And that was being made in the image of God. He said, let us make man in our image. And he formed Adam with his laws and molded his mind and converted his heart to be a son of God. That's what we are, adopted sons and daughters of God. Okay? So Esau wants to interfere with God's will, but he doesn't understand he's playing in God's playground. This is his playground. Okay? So when he said, let us build the desolate places, let's go back to Malachi 1 and 4.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
See, they're going to just build just for the Lord to throw it down, like the Lord threw down the Tower of Babel. He threw down Babylon, Assyria, Egypt, you name it. I always say this. America is no different than those kingdoms. America is going to be a kingdom, right? Oh, my chain is hitting the mic. Salakia. Take it off. That's better? Did it sound bad? We clear now? Yeah, so read that again.
Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
We have to remember that Esau was blessed, and he's in his blessing, and the Lord is just setting him up to be destroyed, right? Because Cain is prototype Esau, and Cain and that murderous spirit has to be avenged sevenfold, and that's what you see rising up. And remember what the Lord said in Genesis chapter 3. Give me that really quick. Genesis chapter 3, verses 24.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubim.
So when he said he drove out the man, that means the Lord removed Adam from him being the cultivator over the earth. He basically divorced Adam from that covenant relationship that he had when he told him, of all of the trees you can eat freely, just like we do in life. Hey, live on the earth, live life, live amongst the trees. Go amongst from city to city, build, but don't forget to be my priest. Right? Teach, be fruitful, multiply, and oh yeah, there's knowledge in, of something. I do not want you to grasp this knowledge I want you to cast this knowledge down. It's the knowledge of good and evil, right? So the Lord drove him from where he set him up in his favorite land, just like he gave Abraham that vision. No different than when he gave Adam the vision of Eve, he gave Abraham a vision, right? That through Sarah, they would have a son, which will ultimately create the proverbial bride, the church, that city whose foundation and builder and maker is God, right? That's the true bride. That's the true vision. That will never be uprooted ever again. Okay, but we would supplant Esau from his blessing, like we see in Genesis, right? And we will be planted as Jezreel, never to be uprooted ever again. Okay, and then the earth will begin to be grow and increase in abundance, and we will be fruitful and multiply again. Okay, read that one more time.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
You see, the east has always been at war. That's why you see everything occurring today. Until there is the true righteous people under the true priesthood that God created from the beginning, the order of Melchizedek, a priest and a king, right? It's not a interdenominational sect of priesthoods where there's different beliefs here and Pharisees here, Sadducees here, Essenes here, right? Ebionites here. No, there's one faith, one Lord, one name, right? There's not going to be any divisions, right? But once that priesthood is set up under Hamashiach Yahawashi, there's going to be a monarchy on the planet. That king ruling with judgment in his hand, like Christ said in John chapter 5. The Lord appointed him to be the judge. So in that day, he's going to be judging people. In that day, he's going to appoint us to judge, and he's going to appoint us kingdoms. But we got to go through the east being at war, because that's where that is the apple of the Lord's eye. That is the Lord's heart. That pit. Okay? Zion. There's no coincidence why they're calling themselves Zionists. And it's the most powerful agenda in the world. And they use their propaganda to work that Zionist in a deceptive serpent-like manner, right on the left-hand side. So the Lord put a flaming sword in the east. That is not literal. That is a prophecy of that enchanting instrument, right, that was created by the serpent and his tongue through the Most High's wisdom on the left to destroy evil and burn down the tree of knowledge of good and evil that he told us not to partake in and not to eat of. So that's what you see rising up. So that enchanting sword instrument, when you go into the Hebrew, it's enchanting instrument. That's that flaming sword where Adam could not get the knowledge and wisdom and get the sovereignty, right? Or the power and authority over the earth again, because he had to go back to the dust. So when the Lord said, in that day you eat of it, you shall surely die. That's why John said, I saw death and hell cast into the lake of fire, because what you see is death and hell, because Adam died from being in that seat, and righteousness is not reigning on the planet, but evil is reigning. So therefore we have to go through this enchanting instrument called the nuclear bomb, called the intercontinental ballistic missile, the AK-47, grenades, rocket launchers, in order for us to get back to the tree of life. That's that woman laboring in pain to give birth to the promise. We have to go through this. That's why Yahawashi said, don't be afraid. You're going to be tried 10 days. The devil's going to cast you into prison. But if you remain and stay steadfast, he's saying you overcome, right? That the second death will not touch you. He will save us through the second death, which is what? This enchanting instrument getting ready to rock the heavens and earth. What it was preserved for via fire. And that was due to Adam's sin. Continue that.
That was after verse 24.
Read it again.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
To keep the way of the tree of life. Because now, remember, when Adam was created, like it says in the Apocrypha, that the way was made broad. So you could imagine how Adam's heart became lifted up with this knowledge of good and evil. As I said in previous classes, Adam was a sorcerer. And their sins, right, and them tapping into this, they were the gatekeepers of the earth. And they didn't guard the earth and protect it in righteousness, but they allowed evil to enter in. And that was the judgment that had to befall Adam. So he, before he could get back and get into that kingdom where we could taste of the tree of life, righteousness, peace, prosperity, freedom, right? Before we could get to that, we have to go to this flaming sword. And he bound these angels in the east. This is why in Revelation 7, the angels called to one another from where? The east. Because this is where God's land is. This is where he's making his what? Decision. The valley of Jehoshaphat. Yahawashi, Yahweh's decision. It's all in the east. Everybody understand? So I'm just speaking on a general sense concerning Edom and their judgment, them being the end of the world. Let's get that in 2 Ezra 6 and 9. Because remember, Esau is Edom in Genesis 36 and 1, just to recap for people's memory.
2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
You see, that's when Adam can stretch forth his hand to taste of the tree of life again. And who was that last Adam? A Mashiach Yahawashi. And who was the bride of Yahawashi? Israel, the church, the elect. Which goes back to Genesis 3, Eve, her being a proverbial sense, why Paul says, which is a mystery when he was talking about Eve being made from Adam's rib. That's a mystery, but that's the church. If you can receive it. Right? Let's go back to Genesis 36 and 1. Con, just for proof.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Who is what?
Who is Edom?
So Esau, the man Esau, Jacob's elder twin brother, is Edom, and his children are Edom, and we know that. Right? That's just for people. So that's, you want proof and precepts for proof. There you go. Esau is Edom. All right. So when we talk about the Edomites, when we talk about Idumea or Duma, in some cases, we're talking about the children of Esau. So Esau being the end of the world, that's who's ruling today. So when John saw the fiery dragon, which is the red dragon in Revelation, that goes back to that fire, that judgment of fire, right? Why the Lord said that that flaming sword was guarding Adam's hand from reaching to touch the tree of life. And that's what we have to go through, the fire. We went through the water, and now we got to go through the fire. That's the second death. The first death being the flood. And that's why 2 Ezra, when it talks about that straight path, as if it's one person behind another, to get to this tree of life, to get to this paradise, he said, on one side there's water, and on one side there's fire. Okay, because the Lord destroyed the ancient world via water, and the Lord destroying this world via fire. Okay?
Right.
Let's get Isaiah 21 and 11. So when Esau said, let us return to build the desolate places, he knew he had to live in this blessing. He knew, because he knows the scriptures. He knows these scriptures, so he knows his time is short. But he in his heart is lifted up in pride, and the Lord made him a drunk man, meaning he's unreasonable and he's irrational, and he's a mad scientist, like I always say. He really thinks that he is going to defy prophecy. He's only living it, right? Well, what did Paul say in Galatians? He said, you can't be against the truth.
Right.
You only could be for it, even if you fight against it. Because the Bible talks about scoffers in the last days. He talks about those spots in your feasts, wandering stars. He talks about those people. Matter of fact, let's get that. Get that in Jude 12. Get that in Jude 12. Before we get to Isaiah 21:11. Jude 12. So we can understand what we're actually dealing with. Okay?
It's the book of Jude, verse 12. There are spots in your feast of charity, when they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear.
Mm-hmm.
Clouds they are without water.
See, clouds without water. Right? They don't have anything in their purpose. They may be a human, but they don't even have substance. Go ahead.
Carried about of winds.
Carry about of winds, strange philosophies, strange doctrines, etc. Go ahead.
Trees whose fruit withereth.
Trees whose fruit withereth. Right? Remember when Adam, the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, but then here Adam sowing on fig leaves, him and his wife. They weren't being fruitful, is what the Bible is trying to say. So that's what we see now. We see fruitless trees, and all of us as the elect, most high willing, we could see death just seeping through the pores of individuals today. Look at the world we look in today when we look through this modern day scrying mirror. Look at how black people have become. Look at how Hispanic people have become. Look at white people today. They're in their pride. Look at the Palestinians and Amalek over there in Warren, in a land that's not theirs. Trees with no fruit. Right? Go ahead.
Without fruit, twice dead.
What?
Twice dead.
Twice what?
Twice dead.
Oh my gosh. So Jude had an understanding, right? You know when the white man says, all right, Tyrone, bang the gavel, you got 800 years. I'm like, damn. There's people serving 800 years. Because the white man knows that the Lord regenerates souls. So if you're twice dead to the Lord, why do you think it's not surprising that we know that Cain is prototype Esau? Because when Cain murdered Abel, it's this very same spirit that said, when our father days of mourning are at an end, I'm going to kill my brother Jacob. They came from the same womb. And here you have it, Cain all over again on the earth, twice dead. Ecclesiastes 6:6, really quick. Solomon, if you actually listen to Ecclesiastes, right? Solomon is Yahawashi, speaking in the throne. But he did not perform the word of the Lord by keeping himself subdued under the Most High. Solomon went off and committed idolatry just like Adam. Right? Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 6. Yea, Though he lived 1,000 years twice told.
See, though he lived 1,000 years twice told, Adam was supposed to live 1,000 years. Mankind is created to live 1,000 years. Twice told, this is talking about a wicked man. Though a wicked man lived 1,000 years in his full life, twice told. Read that.
Yea, though he live 1,000 years twice told, yet hath he seen no good. Do not all go to one place.
See, he still ain't seen no good. Even if he live again, that same soul is going to come back and be committed to wickedness, unrighteousness. Right? So these people that we see amongst us, ruling over us today, that just seem they ain't going to get righteousness, they doing whatever, knowing the bombs is pointed to us, they're twice dead. Coming back doing the same thing that they did in the past life. Right? Don't you live 1,000 years twice? Some people just stuck in their ways. But us, as the children of God, we don't give up on our people. We still got to go out there, whether they hear, Ezekiel said, or forbear.
Right.
He said, listen, I'm going to make your face harder than theirs. I know they Israel. But I'm going to give you a mind of an adamant stone. That mind that you have in your faith today, that's going to drive you to overcome what we see, is going to be why you're on the other side. Eating from the tree of life. Not the literal tree of life, but in a righteous world, because you desire to be in a righteous world. Some people will go straight down with Esau. I remember I went a couple years ago and I was teaching on Mather Street, a very, very poor neighborhood in Hartford. And there was a lesbian sister, one of them butch type women, walked up and said, "Why y'all out here, man? We all going to hell anyway." Gave up, didn't care. We going to hell anyway. Like, yeah, all this board, yeah, the slave ships. You going to hell? I'm going to hell. She was like, we everybody here going to hell. And she just walked off, continued drinking and smoking, playing dice. You got some people that don't care at all about what you care about the Most High God's earth and his creation. So the Most High had to elect people, right, that he would give to his son to rule over and reward them with the same rulership subordinate under him. That's something worthy to be honored with, to be honored by the Most High, to be a chosen people to prolong the planet with new children and train them in righteousness and educate them under the Most High God's laws. That's a true blessing. That's a true, sincere daughter and son of God. That's what the Most High wants. But that's what he's birthing through all this evil and chaos. Okay? So now let's go to Isaiah 21. Jude 12. Jude 12. Finish that. Because there was a little bit more on that. A little bit more meat on that bone.
This is Jude 12. Twice dead, plucked up by the roots.
Plucked up by the roots. What's the Lord saying? They don't have any substance in them. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Come on.
Verse 13. Raging waves of the sea.
Raging waves of the sea. That's when Yahawashi said what? The seas and the waves roaring. When Yahawashi showed me an article of what's going on in London, that the London government needs to dispatch the military, the army, because the Palestinians, was about 1 million Palestinians. You know, that's a Muslim country, a Muslim city, London. It's more Muslims than there are Christians. London is going to be under some heat. Because Muslims is fighting in the name of their God, Allah, which is an idol. Right? And they believe in kamikaze. So they'll die for Allah. Right? So that's what you see. They're a wave in the sea roaring. That's a movement of a nation on the planet being moved to go to war. Who's putting that spirit on them? The Lord.
Right.
Us as Israelites need to focus on Israelites. As Yahawashi told us we need to focus on. I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. To hell with them Palestinians. To hell with the Edomites. To hell with the Hamites. We know their fate. Right?
Right.
Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. The scriptures say. Right? Where we at? Continuing Jude.
Raging waves of the sea,
Mm-hmm.
foaming out of their own shame. Wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever.
See, to whom is preserved the blackness of darkness forever. Eternally, like the Sodomites. You don't hear about them. They receive everlasting darkness. It's preserved for them. So these people who want to war up against the Israelites, and trust me, I'm angered by our people always being under attack. We got to know what's preserved for them anyway. That Esau is the least of my worry right now. You know what my greatest concern is? This flesh getting the best of me. When my spirit teaches me to conquer the flesh. Okay? Now I have more concerns, yes. But that's what our focus should be on. Getting our people to understand that concept.
That's right.
That Benjamin Franklin is not your God. Last week, a brother came up to camp and I said, hey, brother, who's that? I said, what's that on your neck? He said, that's God. It was Caesar Borgia. That's my biggest concern. He said he was God. Caesar Borgia. We had to educate him. And he like, it's like a cult. He trying to brush by us. And all right, brother.
And everything.
Can't say you don't know now. I pray the brother come to the light. That's why I'm here. Right? Continuing Jude.
Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints.
See, the Lord is coming with 10,000s of his saints anyway. When the scriptures talk about the resurrection, you're going to see Abraham appear with the Lord. You're going to see Jacob and Isaac appear with the Lord. They're going to rise back on the earth. We said, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Yahawashi, he expounded and said, God is not the God of the dead, but the living. The saints we read about are all returning with Christ to judge the earth. We got an army behind us.
Right.
Elisha, he said, lift up your eyes. He showed them in the vision. It was chariots. You got to believe and understand, right, that we are drawing lightning from heaven. We are the prophets drawing lightning from heaven. Our prayers are controlling the winds. We're still doing that to this day by faith and believing in God and calling on his name. The Lord, you don't even realize why after you sent up a prayer and you cried out. So like the spirit got me going up somewhere else. Luke, I think it's 15 when the woman cried up consistently. When I come back, should there be faith? I think that's Luke. When I return, shall there be any faith?
Luke 18.
Luke 18, Con.
This is Luke chapter 18 and verse 8. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find
No,
faith?
start from verse 1.
Luke chapter 18 and verse 1. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint.
See, your job right now, and I'm not saying be no punk. Pray and never faint is key. Because you don't realize after you lift up a prayer to the Lord, protect my house, and you're keeping God's laws to the best of your ability. and you ask the Lord to protect your house, he's protecting your house. If you saw in the spirit that there's a predator that live around the corner from your children and they walk to school every day, best believe the Lord is smiting that man with blindness before he could see your child. So the Lord does that. You think that a tornado is just moving this way and that way, and he's going right around you. Now, I'm not saying that we're not all susceptible to perishing, because tomorrow's not promised to no one, but best believe God is fighting for you in the spirit when you pray unto him consistently. He has your back more than you think. More than you think, your creator has your best interest. Go ahead.
Verse 2. There was in the city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded men.
So isn't Esau a king in the city who doesn't fear God? Read that again.
Say, there was in the city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded men.
And he don't regard us. Esau don't regard us. Don't regard what he did to our people. Don't regard our people suffering in prison innocently. Our people in prison for stealing a loaf of bread, receiving life sentences because of the Clinton administration. Go ahead.
And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not God, nor regard men, yet because this widow troubleth me.
See, he's bothered by this widow. Get her out of here. All right, this widow keep on complaining about this situation, man. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. We all go through that when we know that Esau is literally brushing all of our paperwork under the rug. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Blowing up the phone to get a job, right? And he's just got your paperwork on the back, right in the bottom of it. He don't even open your email, right? This woman has a serious issue, and this man has the power to change it and fix it, and he don't give a damn. Go ahead.
Yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me.
See? And he not even genuine about it. He like, look, I'll simply avenge her to shut her up. That's what black people are doing today. White man, hear us. March. March. Let's show Biden that we love him. Now black people wearing Make America Great Again hats. All confused, man. Because they found out Trump was a little bit better than Biden. Yeah, he's so great now. All of a sudden. I'm just waiting for one of my family members to call me, talk about, you vote for Trump? When you was voting for Biden, my whole damn family voted for damn Biden, I bet. But now all of a sudden you're going to vote for Trump. Because you see that Democrats are the greater evil. Right? Go ahead.
And the Lord said, Hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not God avenge his own elect?
See, shall not God avenge his own elect? So why would we put judgment into our own hands? God is going to avenge us. One thing the Lord does not desire for us or anybody, he didn't even let his prophets do that, is become a superhero over the people and you be magnified. Even Gideon, the Lord appointed him and set him up with the power, gave him the sword and the confidence through miracles. He didn't even have might, and made Gideon a judge, and Gideon became a stumbling block to the people when they set up an image to him. Walking past his armor like, this is the armor of Gideon. Josiah, a man, the scriptures say, whose name is sweet as flowers, that songs came from just his death and his honor. His name is a sweet song in Israel because of the Passover, because he converted the southern kingdom back under Moses, under the Most High. But Josiah didn't understand the will of the Lord to a certain degree. And not that he was lifted up in pride, not that he was a wicked man. What's going on? Not that he was a wicked man, but he was so sincere about restoring the northern kingdom after the Lord already judged him. And he tried to restore those borders, and he was not told to do that by the Lord. That was good intentions, but he was not supposed to do that. So therefore, he paid for it with his life. No different than Peter, with good intentions, said to the Lord, when the Lord said, in a few days, I'm about to be delivered up and killed by the chief priests, by the Pharisees, the judges, etc., and the officers. And Peter said, no, Lord, I'll never let them do that. What did the Lord say? Satan, get thee behind me. He said, Al yaka sawama manya hashatan. And the reason why he said that was because though Peter had good intentions and he knew Peter loved him and had his back, he had a will to fulfill by laying down his life. So even Satan can get in the way via your good intentions. So you have to think very smart and sharp and keen in these times and how we move. Okay, you got to know the serpent, how he moves. You got to move like him on the right hand side. Understanding why the Lord told Moses to cast his staff down and it became a serpent. That's representing wisdom and knowledge, right? And us prevailing over the Egyptians' wisdom and knowledge. We have superior knowledge and wisdom. So let's utilize it, being spiritual people. And why the Lord said, not by might nor by power, but by what? But by my spirit. They have all the might they want, all the power they want. We got the Spirit of God, right? And all we got to do is speak the word, and there'll be angels here, and they're coming. They hear us like the Lord heard us back in Egypt, right? Finish that.
And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them?
See? Cry day and night. Go ahead.
I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth?
So, shall he find faith on earth? How many Israelites are falling off out of the truth, falling in different strange doctrines? But when he comes back, will you hold on is the question. Right now, there are people hearing bombs go off as we speak. Children getting blown up into pieces, laying dead on the street. But the Lord said that that no one is going to quench their fire. You're going to see their bodies laid out. That's what we're seeing right now. And nobody going to quench them. That's what we see. Just the beginning phases of what we call the beginning of sorrows. But that's due to Esau and his pomp against God and his neglect for the sheep of God and the fall of his kingdom. Right? And that's all in Obadiah and all throughout the Bible. Okay, so that was just a preface of the lesson. So now let's go to Isaiah 21 and verse 11.
Isaiah chapter 21 and verse 11. The burden of Duma, he calleth to me out of Seir. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night?
So Duma is another name of Edom here, right? So it's another name for Edom. So when you deal with the word burden, all it's simply talking about is vision, prophecy against Edom. We know the Lord says to set your face against Edom. The Lord's face is against Edom, right? So when it says, he calleth to me out of Seir, watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? Meaning, what do you see, watchman, concerning Edom? Right? Go ahead.
The watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the night, If you will inquire ye, return, come.
See? Meaning everything's normal. You know, sun goes up, the night comes. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Just come and ask me again. Extra, read all about it. Right? So the watchman said, look, I don't see anything right now. Right? See, the world is about to see something amazing happen. You're going to see black people, so-called blacks, the captives of this earth, wither in their mind because Esau is no longer in rulership. And black people are afraid, not because God's coming, but because Esau's falling. They love the white man's playground rather than the Lord's paradise. I mean, to learn about the origins of the earth and its beauty is you can't fathom it. But our people would rather a short life, 40, 50 years, cancer, diabetes, for Esau's playground, for Esau's amusement, right? Let's go to Acts 9 and 15, right? So the Lord is bidding everyone to watch Esau. This is an ancient prophecy, and this is pinnacle. Should be highlight moment of all of our biblical scholars, right? You should highlight this. What of the night? Esau saying, "See us tomorrow." They have the very same mind that they've had since they said, "Let us return that we can build the desolate places." And then they invented the humanism era with sellout Jake, like Oliver Cromwell, right? Those men. You see them doing that now, selling out, right? Read that.
Acts chapter 9 and verse 15. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings in the children of Israel.
See that? So that's what the watchmen are doing now. We're bearing the name of the Lord amongst the kings, amongst the Gentiles, right? And Israel. So the whole world is looking at us, but the world doesn't understand that Esau is not going to be extra, read all about it anymore. The Yankees won the pennant, right? They think that their world is just going to keep on revolving. The Lord is going to shut that door on them. And it's going to happen swiftly. He's going to move Esau out the way, right? Let's go back to let's go to Genesis 32 and 3, just to get some more meat on these scriptures, and Joshua 24 and 4, just so you can know what seer is, right? Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 3. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom.
See, Seir is the country of Edom. So when you talk about the watchmen, right, in Seir, right, our forehead is against Seir. So Esau had the country of Seir. What does Seir mean? Comes from the word shayar, which means jagged, hairy, rough. Right? Esau is a rough man, a jagged man. He comes from the jagged clefts of the mountains. Right? Also going into the goat, a satyr. Where you see the goats at? On the side of the mountains. The jagged. That's why you see them always. They don't throw a rope up there and just climb it. Esau just climbing on the side of the mountains. That's his nature, goats. Right? Go ahead. Joshua 24 and 4.
Joshua chapter 24 and verse 4. And I gave unto Isaac, Jacob, and Esau, and I gave unto Esau Mount Seir to possess it, but Jacob and his children went down into Egypt.
See, we went down into Egypt as the Anu and the Sashu people, and Esau took Mount Seir, and he was with Horites. Right? And so this is where Esau resided. But Jacob didn't reside in Mount Seir. Jacob went down where? Into Egypt from Canaan. Okay? Just to show you a little bit of history and migration, let's go to Jeremiah 49. And let's go to verse, let's start at verse 8. No, verse 7.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman?
Timon, when you go into that word Yemen, this is the origin, because the interchangeable characters, right, in this word phrase, in the word Timon, comes from Yemen. Okay, because Esau was in those regions. Okay, so now continue.
Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished?
So when you go into the Timonites, Alexander, coming from Esau in that Arabian Peninsula, right around Timon, right, modern day Yemen, right? Alexander was a Timonite in history. Okay, and remember, Alexander, he made allegiances with who? The Greeks, right? Himself being a Macedonian, right? And he made allegiances with those of Athens, and he rose to power, and that's how Esau began to rule the earth. And we see when Daniel, right, he called out in the vision the four-headed leopard. That was the Greek or the Macedonian Empire being birthed through Alexander. So this is why he's mentioning the wise men of Timon, because they are the wise men, the crafty men, the militant men of war, like the Nazis. German technology. Guess what? Albert Einstein was what? The German scientist. Worked for the Nazis. Brought him right over here to America. So the wise men of Timon are helped build Babylon. Walt Disney was a what? A German scientist who casted his spells and that left-hand serpent-like wisdom on our children. MK Ultra, he practiced through Disney, magic, sorcery. Disney was a part of the MK Ultra programming, okay, to overstimulate the minds of children and make them overly sexualized. They played with infants. I'm talking about played with them literally in a sexual manner. See how much dopamine will come out of infant and see if they will get sexually aroused and begin to create all types of experiments on a child's mind. And when they see visions, and remember, Walt Disney, majority of their photographers and film writers, they are porn cinematographers, all part of MK Ultra. Wise men of Timon is a rabbit hole when you talk about that. But the Lord has their days numbered in Timon. Okay? The hospital systems, Timon behind that. The mental institutions, Timon and that wisdom is behind that. That all trickles down from Alexander the Greek and much of their philosophies. Because remember, Alexander, even when you talk about the colleges, they used to get molested before they go into the armies, where you get interns from. Interns come from a fraternal society where they practice all type of homosexual rituals and all types of abominable things. Then they go into the business world. They become interns. That came from Timon and that wisdom. to take a man's kundalini energy by penetrating his backside. Okay? These are the rituals that they perform to make a man docile before him as a CEO. That's why you see these men, right? Normally they come in homosexual, right? They come in as little flamboyant boys. You got them in the White House. They're not just going in there just because they're just promoting homosexuality. They're actually working their way up to be these modern day what? Eunuchs. Okay? On the left-hand side, through molestation and mental abuse and emotional abuse, to make a man subservient to another man in another sentimental facet. Disgusting. Right? Jeremiah 49, verse 8.
Verse 8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan.
So in the depths it's talking about. Right? Go to Jeremiah 29 and 13, I believe it is. I think it's 29 and 13. 21 and 13, I think.
It's 21 and 13.
Yep.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 21, verse 13.
Start at verse 12. That's even better.
Verse 12.
11. Dang.
Verse 11. And touching the house of the king of Judah.
What's the house of the king of Judah? David.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Say, hear ye the word of the Lord.
So what does the house of David need to hear? The word of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 12. O house of David, thus saith the Lord, execute judgment.
Do what?
Execute judgment.
Now, as the church, being the modern day house of David, we have to execute judgment. Understanding how to execute judgment spiritually, though. Right? And we are executing judgment as princes and governors in God's kingdom that he's setting up. But the kingdom is within us and we are executing judgment, right? In our daily lives. And as a people, we're coming together to furthermore, to moreover execute judgment on the wicked. Go ahead.
Execute judgment in the morning and deliver him that is spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor.
See, while we not like the unrighteous king that didn't care about God or the people or that widow, right? On the daily, we should execute judgment when we rise up in our daily life and continue to deliver those who are spoiled. Our job as a people is to always sow bread of life to our people and deliver them from their captivity. Go ahead.
Lest my fury go out like fire and burn that none can quench it.
And you see that taking place. Go ahead.
Because of the evil of your doing.
So we can't quench what's getting ready to happen. It's already said and done. The Lord, no one is going to say, all right, Lord, stop. Let's call the Pope. Pope, we need you on BBC to tell the world. Let's Michael Jackson, play some Michael Jackson. Heal the world, make it a better place for you. No, for me and the entire human race. No, Mike. No. The house of David got to execute judgment. Right? Which is the government and authorities of Hamashiach Yahawashi, being a son of David, right? Continue.
Verse 13. Behold, I am against thee, O inhabitant of the valley.
The inhabitant of the valley is who? Oh, Fro Boggins. Yeah, that guy. Living in the valley in the house, coming out. Chronicles of Narnia. Those people that lived in the clefts of the rocks. The clubfoot, hunchback, long nose, wart nose, cauldron bubble. Them Brothers Grimm's people. Them people. London Bridge is falling down, ring around the rosy people. The people of the valley, the Dan, Edom, Duma, those people. Go ahead.
And the rock of the plain, save the Lord, which say, who shall come down against us?
What did Esau say in Obadiah when we first went into Obadiah 1 through 11? He said, who gonna come against us? Go ahead.
Or who shall enter into our inhabitants?
Who
Our habitation, Slack.
who's gonna come up in this White House? Who is gonna enter into this nuclear bunker we got? Who's gonna enter into these underground cities that we got? Who is gonna enter into this space station? Who can cross our line without getting sniped? I mean, we know 2 years before we got paperwork on people that we suspect is gonna try to ruffle our feathers in their kingdom, in our kingdom. We'll frame them. Right? Who's gonna enter into our habitation, our rest, and our dominion, and our sleep? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14. But I will punish you according to the fruit of your doings, saith the Lord. And I will kindle a fire in the forest thereof, and it shall devour all things round about it.
So that forest goes back to the garden, representing the kingdoms and palaces, right? So there's a fire breaking out in Esau's forest. Literal fires and people uprooting his kingdom just being burnt down before his eyes. Well, how's it going over there in the military base over there in the embassy over in Egypt? They're outside the gate. You know, Ishmael's kind of mad at us. Send the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations, see if they'll stop it. And Obama, send Obama. He has brown skin. Tell him to quench that fire. He can't quench nothing. The Lord put it in the hearts of all of these different tribes and nations to break out like a wildfire in Esau's forest. He can't go hunting no more because his forest is burnt down. Right? Let's go back to Jeremiah 49.
Left off at
Verse 8.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan.
Meaning dwell in the depths, meaning the Lord is calling them to be put down, meaning dwell in the depths. When you die, you get buried in the depths. Right? So he's saying, be eradicated from before my sight, because you're abominable in your doings and the fruits of your doings. Right? It's going to cause my wrath to break out on you like the Sodomites. Go ahead.
For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him.
See, the calamity of Esau is here. And what did the Lord say? He's going to laugh at their calamity. And then he's going to turn in wrath against them. That's what you see happening. Bloodshed. Right? When the Lord told John to write that down in Revelations, when he said blood was to a horse's bridle, it wasn't literally like a river of blood and we swimming in it. Hey, Shema. Hey, man, you found anything under that blood? Oh, man, hold on. I found a shoe. It's not what. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the in a hyperbolic sense that's how much bloodshed is going to be on the earth, that you're going to need to bury these bodies. And it's going to be called the Valley of Hamongog in that day. Because bodies that's laid out now, they're not going to receive honorable burials. They ain't going to be doing that. March, he was a great warrior. No, they all going to be laid out. Some of them bodies laid out now. And them abandoned buildings going to remain laid out until the day of the Lord. As war and keeps on building up. That's when the Lord means, and no one shall quench them. And their maggots shall eat them. Right? That's what the Lord is saying. Go ahead.
Verse 9. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes?
So even when robbers break in to a house, right? They're like, hurry up, get the VCR, get the DVD, get the TV, shoot, look in the dresser, grab something, right? Even they'll leave stuff behind, right? Go ahead.
If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I've made Esau bare.
See, the Lord is saying, look, I'm not leaving nothing for Esau. Everything I'm taking. And the Lord is going to take his pride ultimately. When he shows them who he is and they no longer exist. How about that? Go ahead.
But I have made Esau bare. I've uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
His brethren. So even though Putin is against Biden in America, he's a brother. He's an Edomite. He's a brother. But even look, everyone that's nearby you and allied to you, Esau, which is Ishmael in some cases, which is Elam in some cases, right? Ham in some other cases, right? All of you are going to be spoiled collectively with Esau, right? Go ahead.
Verse 11. Leave thy fatherless children.
See, leave thy fatherless children. Now, brothers that believe in the Gentiles being saved, they like to go here. I believe we went here before. Leave thy fatherless children. They're like the Lord is saying, now the Lord is creating a commercial where you got little Keegan, like we see the poor children right now in Syria. Remember they're holding up the signs, war in Syria. The whole world, pray for Syria. Like the Lord is running a commercial on Jeremiah 49:11 saying, leave the fatherless children to me to take care of, adopt, and guide. No, he's speaking like a great king saying, leave your children fatherless. All the patriots and the patriotic men of America, right? Obliterate them and leave their children. Okay? And leave their children for captivity, bless you, and slaughter.
Right.
Go ahead.
Leave thy fatherless children. I will preserve them alive.
See, I'm going to leave the children alive. And he's speaking in as a terrible power, Allah Shadya. Okay? That's what he's doing. Preserve them alive because I'm killing all the fathers in this war. Right? Go ahead.
And let thy widows trust in me.
So he's saying, let thy widows trust in me. All y'all gonna die in this war. They ain't gonna put their trust in you fighting this war. You ain't gonna come back with booty and prey and substance and new territory to go over and run and start another apartheid. You're not about to do that. You're not about to colonize. Leave your widows to trust in me because you're a dead Edomite. That's what the Lord is saying. Right? Verse 12.
Verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, behold.
Sandra Bullock. Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken.
See, and sometimes a sense of sorrow, because you got some Edomites that, dude, you know, my fathers did terrible things, you know, and I just feel terrible, you know, about what happened to you and your people, right? Feel terrible. And, you know, how can we repay? Hey, you got to drink the cup, brother. Right? And all of y'all that didn't think y'all should partake in God's judgment, you're going to. Because we as the Israelites collectively partook in it as a people.
Right.
The Lord said Israel went into Babylon because of Manasseh's sin. Okay? We all were affected by that. So guess what? You have to pay for your father's sins. Go ahead.
And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation.
Basra shall become a desolation. Basra is the paramount, what can I say, political world, military world, entertainment world of Esau, right? Yo, yeah, Shema. Yeah, just switch out the DC. I know you wake up early. Don't worry. Shema, come up and read. Go ahead.
A reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste.
See that? So all the cities that their fathers built, right, are going to be a perpetual waste. DC, right? New York, LA, Atlanta, Miami. All these cities going to be a perpetual waste. What is perpetual waste? Perpetual meaning it's everlasting. Right. Like Jericho was supposed to be a perpetual waste. Like the city, like certain cities, the Lord said, destroy it, supposed to be perpetual waste. Right? That's why Achan, his house was made an example and they were burned with fire because they wanted to hide that Babylonian garment. As much as we love watching Michael Jordan, you ain't about to be like, is there a Michael Jordan jersey somewhere? Yes, take this jersey. Michael Jordan's a legend. That ain't happening. Michael Jordan's jersey is getting burnt up. Get over this world. That's a Babylonian garment you're not taking. You mean I can't take John Elway's? Right? I can't bring my Timberlands with me? No. Right? You ain't bringing nothing. Not no Kodak pictures. You ain't bringing a Kodak moment into the kingdom. That's my picture of a Wella in Wello. That's not going, man. Everything's getting burnt up. Okay? Your dog, he ain't going in the chariots, man. Your Beamer, it ain't going in the chariots. So you might as well disconnect yourself. I mean, don't stop taking care of your dogs and your parrots and stuff, but you know what I'm saying. Okay? Stop being so connected to this world, man. Know that this is just here for a moment. Take care of it. Shine your car. Shine your rims. Feel good. But don't worship these things and put these things before your Lord and make them become a stumbling block before the will of the Lord in your life. The Bible says to execute judgment in the morning. Right? And that's what you have to do every day you wake up with that mindset. God? Continue.
Verse 14. I've heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen.
So this is the watchman, right? An ambassador, a rumor, right? Now, the rumor is that these people ain't the real Jews, right? You had ambassadors such as Gamal, al-Nasir, an Egyptian, I believe, prime minister, I believe, in the 40s, said that the Jews left black and came back white. That's an ambassador sent to the heathen. You have many people, Muhammad Ahmadinejad, that president of Iran, mentioning that they ain't the true Jews, right? Against Edom. You got many ambassadors that's amongst the heathen speaking against Edom in the United Nations. Believe it or not, Muslims know that the white man is devilish, and they'll say that, right? But they'll convert them into their religion because it's all about profit and gain, right? But the ambassadors are sent to the heathen, right? The Lord is reminding the world of who the devil is, right? And even Ham will tell you that the white man ain't no good. He's trying to protect his country from LGBTQ and the rainbow community. And they're over here sanctioning, putting sanctions over their country and not funding any imports to go into their country to feed them because they won't accept homosexuality. They won't allow homosexual parades in their lands. So let's starve them out. That's what they say. Cut off all imports into their country. That's what Esau's doing. So you hear you scrolling on different reels, and you hear even other countries talking about the evils of America and Basra, the pinnacle of Esau. Right? Go ahead.
And an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle.
That's what's happening. The Lord putting that spirit even on them Gentiles to rise up and go to battle against Basra. The top corporate bankers and merchants of the world. We read about that in Revelation chapter 18. The merchants were waxed rich because of her abundance and delicacies. Everybody's rising up against her to battle. Go ahead.
For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men.
And that's speaking in regards to Basra. Right now, the whole world is against, even the other Edomites is against Basra, man. And Esau collectively is small amongst the heathen in general, right? Esau can't just go anywhere and be like, hey, how you doing? They know the history of you. And they are greatly despised wherever they go. I mean, when an Edomite will come in and train, right? When I was in Egypt, Ishmaelites made sure they made them feel uncomfortable. No, I'm dead serious. Yo, Arabs used to look at them like this on a train, all of them, sucking their teeth. Yo, they used to be blushing, red. Living in Egypt, going to there was a school out there called America University. They literally have blocked off neighborhoods. I'm talking about not just like a villa. I'm talking about an entire neighborhood. Some cities blocked off just for whites to go in. And this is in an Arab country in Egypt. And the Arabs couldn't even go in those fenced communities.
Damn.
So those Edomites could leave their communities, take the train, go to this city, go to Rehab City, go to that city, and guess what? The Arabs can't go to their city. They're greatly despised wherever they go because of colonialism, because they have stolen every damn thing. They go in other people's communities, suck their money out of them. Right? That's what they're doing all over the world. South Africa going through that with them. So they're greatly despised. And everyone is now realizing that we got to go against her in battle because this person is just becoming cancerous on the planet and is sucking the earth of her beautiful resources. I mean, he's literally sucked one of the strongest resources we have as a black people. Not even talking about the earth, I'm talking about our woman's mind. Our woman's mind is a resource to us as black men. And Esau is sucking the life out of our woman's mind. And he is implanting and instilling and installing death and corruption in her mind that we can't even get our women back. You tell them to take off the wig, grow your fro, but the Lord has pockets of showing beauty. When you hear about all of these, you hear all of these beautiful soca songs rising up all over the earth, and these beautiful black women, beautiful chocolate skin, beautiful brown, yellow people of the Caribbean, etc., still living joyous and in love and singing. No Edomite could compare. All of the superheroes starting to become what? Black. Spider-Man is a Ephraimite brother. Miles. My son looked just like him. Right? But they know that black is the only thing that is saving their society. Because we make everything hip, cool, stylish, fashionable, godlike. It's only we can do it. He sold us to Superman.
You gotta make them big.
Yeah, he sold us to Superman back in the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, right? But when people started figuring out that Michael Jordan was jumping higher than Superman in comic books, they said, nah, they're not buying it no more. But you're starting to see the rising up of God's people and the glory that he put on his people. And we are the sanctuary of God. Esau is stealing any beauty that he can possibly steal from within us as well. He stole from us the word that we held and possessed and taught properly. He has it, and now we debating with it to our own people. Our grandmother, like, grandma's not talking about that. She's like, boy, shut up. This is God, Jesus, with a picture of Caesar Borgia. The white man did that. Took the spirit of our grandmothers, spirit of our grandfathers. Not only did he do that to the earth and suck the oil out and the gold and the silver and the platinum and hid all of the beautiful treasures from us, but he's sucking the soul out of us and the life out of us, man. Well, we're becoming like that widow crying up to God every day. But God is going to avenge the elect. So that's what you see taking place, right? Go ahead.
Verse 16. Thy terribleness has deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
So when it says thy terribleness has deceived them, right? It's talking about their fierceness. Remember what the Lord said, that he's going to send a nation against us whose countenance is what? Fierce. The white man's countenance is fierce. A white man, a mad cop that's mad at you will literally pull his gun out at you, and you know that you're playing with life and death. Because he knows he has that power in his hand to kill you, and he's licensed to kill you. God ain't licensed that man to abduct you and put you in jail. You're a free man. He didn't license that man to kill you at all. You're not a threat. But because of his terribleness and what he sees his kindred doing, that deceives him in his heart, thinking, I have power to do whatever. I have power to commit murder, get away with it, go to the next country, continue to murder, still get away with it. Because my fathers did it too. I'm entitled to kill, and God will do nothing. That's why the watchman said, it is the morning and it is the night. Come tomorrow, return. But the watchman and the prophets whose faces against Esau is saying, we don't fear you like these other Israelites out here that y'all put in captivity. And the Lord gave us a what? An adamant mind. We'll speak against you. Because if I don't speak, there's one more terrible than you. He's my God, Yahawashi, or Malachi Yahawashi. Oh yeah, you're gonna see in that day who we are, who he is. Okay. And that's what we're seeing. So I'm trying to reveal to you that the Lord has everything in his proper framework. For who? For his son to be glorified, and for his son to glorify his other sons and daughters in that day. But let the delusion pour on these Israelites coming out talking about, hey, Yahawashi's when he did miracles, that was a parable. Let these bug outs come out here, because that's supposed to happen. Why we speak about that? Give me that in 1 Corinthians. I believe it's one of my favorite scriptures. I think it's these different heresies. 1 Corinthians 11 and 19. Brothers going on vocab and Malone, turning their back against Israelites, right? Brothers is like, there was another brother. Remember the brother with the glasses? He had the bald head, light-skinned brother. He was like in 2016, 2017, had a big page. Talked about the Israelites, had a whole Deuteronomy 28 breakdown. Now it was like, when I discovered that the Bible was a myth, I was freed. Another bug out. But why is the Lord casting these delusions on people? He's choosing their delusions like he chose the delusion on who? Ahab. Ahab said, I'm going to war. God said, no, you're not. I got angelic might up here. And the spirit came out and said, I'm going to be a lying spirit, Lord. He said, go down and be a lying spirit. And he put a Eureka in a brother and a couple other brothers and said, the Lord said, go to war, Ahab. He did. He is on my side. The Lord is not on your side. Right. Kawan said it's sifting season. Right. Before the Lord comes and executes ultimate judgment, he always opens the door for those to utilize judgment. To see where your mind gonna go on some foolish advent, or you're gonna stay steadfast in the teachings of a Mashiach Yahawashi. Right? Read that.
1 Corinthians 11 to 19. For there must be also heresies among you.
So heresies got to come up. If any of y'all brothers just stand up and say, I am Elijah returned, you getting kicked out of this damn school. Okay? We ain't got no time for that. If any brother in the other camps, and our other camps in the other states, start saying, you know that the Antichrist is Donald Trump. He's the one the scriptures was talking about. He's going to draw a fire. That's the war that he's drawing up. And he's going to draw a big bomb. He's going to drop it right on, no, brother, you got to get out to school. Okay, get your spirit right. Okay? There's no time for heresies. Right? Go ahead.
That they which are approved may be made manifest among you.
So heresies got to come so those who are approved to teach, right, could cast them down and show people, no. The Lord gave this brother the mind to be able to correct someone who's incorrect. And now you have an audience. Clubhouse was the perfect environment for that. We got to see all the bug outs. And some people follow the bug outs. I mean, rip through total families, man. Right? Brothers start saying wild stuff and saying, look, I believe in this. And I'm going to go this way with it. Then he brought about 3 or 4 brothers and a couple sisters. Some people said, I am Christ. I am the voice of Christ. We heard that I don't know how many times. Oh, yeah, what's up? We don't know how many people said they was Jesus Christ. And that's why it's very important that us, with that one mind, that seeing eye to eye, stick close together. Even though we have our minor differences, we ain't speaking nothing that's crazy and heretic. But that's why the Lord chose men who are approved by God in the spirit, so that we could appoint the people in the right direction, especially in these times. Because this is a time where the angels are pouring the vial out on the earth, right? As well as the delusions. You'll wake up and you'll have a dream one night and wake up saying that, all the people got to go to this cliff and jump off of it. Well, we've seen that. I'm talking about in the 70s and 80s, man. People drinking. Did you see this? This right here, is the same serum the Lord gave to Ezra when he said, drink this. You got rubbing alcohol in it, got a damn skull on it, on the bottle, pouring it in there, and then put some wine in it and some olive oil. When you drink this, that's how you're going to get beamed up. I wouldn't be surprised because people have done that. People, even in the times of Christ, remember Simon the sorcerer, Simon Magnus in history, Thaddeus or Theudas, right? He told the people that he had a whole movement. He was going to go split the Jordan River. Okay, what the Pharisees do? The Pharisees hemmed him up and executed him. So they thought that they did the same thing when they executed Christ. He was a false prophet. He did miracles in the name of Beelzebub. He's not the Son of God, but he's the only one that God chose and rose from the dead and overcame life, death, hell, and destruction. And us in believing in him, we also can overcome. So what the hell you think we should be? Why should we be afraid in these times, knowing that we can overcome death, hell, and destruction? There's destruction, hell, and death all around us. Every day, people dying. And we believe that even if we die, we will be resurrected and regenerated back with him, those saints returning with him to do what? Avenge Esau. By the hand of his own people. Remember, he's going to avenge Esau. So what? So why should you be afraid now? Why should you give up now? Because you hear wars coming. Confusion all over the earth. This is where you appreciate the family and the sanctuary that God has given you, because he knew what would draw you. He knew what you would like. He knew he every step you took and you counted, left foot, left foot, from your favorite color down to your favorite orators. The Lord put you in a perfect body that was fit for you, that will identify your weaknesses and help you in them, identify your strengths and help you in them. You think that was a coincidence? And I'm speaking for myself. People who will counsel you so that you will be better. When we don't hear from you, in a month they call you, brother, where you at? Fish you back in. You think that's a coincidence? No. The Lord gave you a family that you can be involved with, because he gave you the same mind, because he wants to save you from death, hell, and destruction. So these times are precious, but that means, guess what? Hebrews 10:26 says, gather there the more as you see the day approaching. Right? This wasn't a coincidence. The Lord cares about you. Okay? There's no time to be weighed down by your sins, weighed down by your mind that's warring against all of us, saying, you ain't good enough. Right? All these problems happen in my life. Problems happened in Job's life for a reason. Lord is not going to make this easy for anyone. Because remember, Adam's hand cannot approach the tree of life, because there's a flaming sword betwixt Adam and that kingdom again. And that has to come through war and labor pains. But we almost at the end of the promise, man. Faith is going to appear, but Christ said, will there be faith? A lot of people just falling out. Will there be faith in God? Because you see people are losing faith in God. I'm talking about even church folk. They don't believe in God. They look like damn Hollywood in the BET Awards. Our people don't have faith in God anymore. I seen the brother literally say, I pray to myself. I tell my elbow to move. I tell my left foot to move. This man in the sky, and he's mentioning God. And all he's concerned about is how to get wealthy and how he made moves to get wealthy. Brother, you forgot about It's not about being wealthy with hundreds of dollars. You're still flaunting the white man system. You don't know what it's like to be free yet. That's why you got to grind harder, son, to get the money. I'm not saying don't get the bag, but I'm saying don't forget about making mention of God waking you up this morning. Don't forget to mention that you didn't just collectively go get this money without the intellect that came from God to go get it. God gave you insight about how to get the money. Give God back his due praise. You got a New York Yankee fitted hat on. Don't even realize you talked about God ain't do this for you. But guess what? You got on a white man's hat on, flaunting the white man, but still trying to uplift the black man. Brother, you all over the place and you confused. You don't know what it's like to stretch forth your hand into a paradise and be a free man waking up in a kingdom. But you're doing all this for a Yankee hat in the podcast show. You've thought wrong, my brother. You got it all backwards when you don't make mention of God. And he believed in God. He just thought he figured out a new type of program and said, I don't got to pray to God. I pray to myself. I said, okay. All right. Well, let's go back. Genesis 49. I don't want to get late.
Start from.
I'm at Jeremiah 49.
Start from
The cherubinous. Yep, come on.
This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 16. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goes by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
That's going to be even after the coming of Christ. They're going to see all of the plagues that's befallen Esau. He ain't going to look like he looked in the 1950s, Pleasantville. Hey, how you doing, Mrs. Krabappel? Just every day, delivering milk. Here you go. Oh, my cat's stuck in a tree. Call 911. Damn fire engine blew. 5 damn firemen coming out. Here, kitty. Here. Getting a ladder. Here you go, Miss Krabappel. Enjoy your milk, by the way. That's over with, man. The damn doggy door. Right? Going in, your little dog eating, choosing whatever little dog food he wants, and the dog food come down. That's over, man. All that shit is done. Okay? All of it. Bring that out.
Verse 18. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it.
No one's going to abide in Esau's kingdoms. Esau's kingdoms are going to be utterly destroyed. The Lord's going to do a lot of revamping on this earth because there's a lot of cities of Esau that he rules and regulates, man. Right? He's going to be excreted out. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her.
Mm-hmm.
And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time?
See, who's going to appoint me the time? Right? Like, who is going to disannul what I'm saying going to happen? Right? Nobody. Go ahead.
And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?
Who's the shepherd that's going to, Biden? whoever's over Biden, Netanyahu, is he going to talk me out? Is he going to say, okay, Christ, all right, I know this is your people's land. Okay. And no, listen. All right. Now, here's what you should do. Instead of violence, as the great Al Sharpton said, no, before that, his head going to be off. Okay. Yahawashi ain't coming down here to talk to nobody. He did enough talking on the first century. And they did a lot of mocking.
Right.
And they shamed him. And they still shame him. Could you imagine Yahawashi? Could you imagine if somebody took a picture of you and 500 years later, someone else identified as you, misappropriated who you were in history, and you look completely different than what you actually look like? Yahawashi said, they really got me down there looking like this straggly head.
So
Yeah. Dog head. Right? You got me down here looking like that, man.
Without a beard.
Right. When the scriptures say that he has the visage of the Father, that's how you saying the Heavenly Father. Look, why that brother last Saturday said, I said, who's that on your neck? He said, God. Don't you know how angry the Lord is about that? Jealous. Good one. He said that he is jealous for his people, man. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
The other key, I think, is check the other key. I think it's in the You got it? Okay, come on. All right, go ahead.
Verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom.
The counsel of the Lord. I want y'all to understand. The counsel of the Lord is all the angels you see in the spirit and revelations with the vials, the trumps. He appointed angels after they had a nice counsel in the spirit, like we see in Kings. The counsel of the Lord was, okay, Raphael, you go talk to Ezra, unfold this. I mean, you go talk to Tobias, Tobit, go unfold this. Uriel, you talk to Esdras and give him insight on this. Right? By the word. Right? Gabriel, go down there and tell Mary that she is going to bear the Son of the Most High God. She's chosen to bear the Messiah that was promised for the people. And the Lord sent Gabriel down there and said, blessed amongst women. Right? Called Mary blessed. She couldn't even understand that. That was his counsel. And the angels took part in that. Well, the counsel of the Lord concerning Edom is not blessed amongst the nations. You have been proven before God, and God is going to bless you with ultimate paradise. No. The counsel that the angels and God had was violence for Esau, desolation, desolate heritage, no children, leave the widows alive, right? Prepare slaughter. That's the counsel, right? And the angels are sending the winds, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, you name it. Right? Go ahead.
And his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
So when it says the least of the flock shall draw them out, that means the least of the flock shall be drawn out. That means when they didn't pity our children and they took boys and girls and put them on ships, the least of their flock is going to be drawn out. Because believe it or not, yeah, Esau knows that his people, that's their flock. The shepherds, Esau knows that the mayor over this city and the mayor over that city, and guess what? They know that this is their flock. They know the blacks. Yeah, they're in the suburbs, but they're cursed in the field. They're the ones in the ghettos, they're cursed. I'll go visit them when I'm running for mayor, but they make sure that their flock is taken care of. They make sure their high schools are educated. But the very least of the flock is going to be drawn out. Because when you look at it from a Mideast understanding and point of view, back then sheep were very, very precious to people in their East. And that's why David got mad and rose up when he heard from the prophet Nathan that that sheep was stolen. Because stealing a sheep was the equivalent of a damn a canine police dog being killed. Edomites literally cry for months and have damn funerals for this dog. You know, Esau loved dogs because they're worthy to be set out with the dogs of the flock. They love the dogs, right? What do dogs do? Dogs help do what? They bark at the sheep and they move the sheep directions. So pack dogs, they would have pack dogs in the ancient times and unleash pack dogs that were trained to steal people's sheep even overnight and knew how to do it silently. That's why Paul said, beware of dogs, because they were calling those dogs, those Pharisees and those people who were leading the sheep astray, calling them in the same, likeness or similitude of those dogs that those sheep stealers, trafficking sheep, when they would send out the dogs to go move the sheep in a whole nother direction, and they're in a different pasture. Now they're in different cabins being packed in and hauled off like we were. So this is why he's calling them the least of their flock, because Esau knows that this is our flock. Because dogs have a very important role in when you steal sheep. Guess what? Your sheep are going to be stolen. Your people are going to be taken and spoiled and sold off to the Sabians. That's what the scriptures say. Right? So I'm just kind of giving y'all some understanding of the Near East language. Right? Go ahead.
Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Verse 21. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall.
There you go. That is what is taking place. The earth is being moved at Esau's fall. All the earth is moving collectively. The seas roaring, like we read in Jude. Because these people in Basra, Amalek, the first of the nations, and everyone in the pinnacle that are ruling, their kingdom is falling and their forest is on fire. Right? Go ahead.
The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea.
See that? The cry thereof was heard in the Red Sea, because the Lord is saying this is the same way the Egyptians cried after the Israelites when the Lord was ready to save their people. So when it says it was heard in the Red Sea, the Lord is just sending the world a powerful message of to the earth. Remember when I swallowed up Pharaoh? That's the same cry that the whole world is going through, because the Lord is going to swoop right in and like a roaring wave show the whole earth, everyone moving in the name of Allah, everyone moving in the name of Mary, everyone moving in the name of Yahweh and following the Talmud, everyone moving in the name of Krishna, Buddha, atheists, whatever, LGBTQ, right? I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, moved. Guess what? The cry shall be heard in the Red Sea, meaning the Lord is reminding the earth of what he did to anyone that went against his will. You can move all you want. You could gather the millions. Give me that Isaiah 54 and 15. Isaiah 54 and 15. You could move all you want, right? You know how I like to do. Before we get to Obadiah, I'm going through much of the other prophecies so it could be clear in Obadiah, right? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 15, you said?
15, come on.
Verse 15. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me.
See, that the world gathering together, but not by the Lord. Go ahead.
Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake.
See, they're going to fall for our sake. The Palestinians, believe it or not, that went against them Israelites in Chicago, they're going to fall. However, we argue in our own community, they're going to fall. Anybody that touches the apple of the Lord's eyes, they're going to fall.
Right.
Anyone that comes in, that joins vocab Malone to come against the Israelites, you're going to fall. You have no purpose in going against the will of the Lord. Right? So you're going to fall with Esau. And that's why the whole world is being moved at the fall of Esau, so-called white man. And he's diving head first. Let's go back to Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 22. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra.
See, now you don't flew as the eagle. I'm going to fly like an eagle and spread my wings over Basra. Go ahead.
And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pain.
And that's when he comes with those chariots. That's when he comes with those chariots. Those are the wings of the Lord, pursuant to Psalms 104. Gliding on the wings of the wind. That's when they see this invasion. The paramount pinnacle stature of Esau is going to be afraid in that day. And they're going to utilize whatever ammunition they have, but it ain't going to work. Right? Now let's jump to Obadiah, verse 11, where we left off. And we're going to read straight through. Put a one in the chat if you're being edified. See if people are awake. You know, the disciples fell asleep right before Yahawashi was getting crucified. You know, Jake. We left off at verse 11. We probably won't even, Obadiah is such a powerful book. We probably just read from verse 12 to, we'll read from verse 12 to 17 tonight. And then we'll go into a little bit of history next week, most high willing. So we're going to read from 12 to 17.
This is the book of Obadiah, verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger.
So the day he became a stranger, because he fell into calamity and he was confused. And what they do, they exploited us and we were bamboozled. So those strangers that Paul is talking about, and in many cases, right, when you're talking about ye are not a people, Peter's saying, those were Israelites, because Israelites became heathen-like. And they're still looking upon our nakedness because of our calamity and our history and what happened to us. And we are living like heathendom. They looked upon us and they took advantage of us, made us tap dance for wealth, right? So they're looking upon us and exploiting us, and they're using us and extorting us, you name it. You don't think they're using bribery to us as a collective nation? Hey, come on. If you just let us get away with what happened, we'll give you your 40 acre and a mule. It's bribery. Am I right or am I wrong? Go ahead.
But thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
And that was 70 AD when they came against Judah and they destroyed the kingdom of Judea, destroyed the temple, besieged it, General Titus, Emperor Vespasian, right? Go ahead.
Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
See, neither shall you have spoken proudly in their day of distress. They spoke proudly against us. Look at them, coons, niggas, wetbacks, moon crickets. They're 3/5 of a man. That's speaking proudly in the day of our distress. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
You shouldn't even have entered into their gate. You shouldn't have done that. Going up into their palaces, going up into their temple, putting your pantheon, your Trinitarian God, Minerva, Jupiter, right? Emperor Hadrian did that. Going up into the temple, erecting their gods, right? Who else did that? Who had sex on the Lord's altar? The Greeks. Sacrificing pigs on his altar. Going into the gate, doing abominable things that led to desolation. The Lord couldn't even look on his altar. Right? Go ahead.
Yea, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity.
See, they should have not looked on our affliction in the day of our calamity when we became estranged from the Most High's covenant and his laws and his ways. But we being guided back by the prophets. But Esau still committed to that same heart he had before Isaac died. Prototype Cain, Esau today. When the days of my father's mourning at hand, I'm gonna kill my brother Jacob. And he's been doing it, chasing us down ever since. Read Amos. Amos tells you that. Go ahead.
Nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
You shouldn't even touch their substance. Under the Vatican, there's miles of our substance, miles of our records. Not even the Vatican, but all over the earth, they took our substance. Right? And they're abusing our substance today, which is why you see his forest on fire, as the scripture said in the book of Jeremiah. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Neither should thou have stood in the crossway.
What is the crossway? When you go into the Hebrew on this word crossway, it's parak. So remember when Amalek, when we were coming out of Egypt, the Lord just destroyed a great enemy. Think about how wicked Balaam and the rest of these nations were around about, which is why when you read Deuteronomy 21, why Rahab was praised for becoming subordinate to the children of Israel, because he said, if any city come against you, then go to war with it and make them your tributaries, who's ever left over. That law still stands today. When we go to war with the heathen again, they're going to be heathen that are going to fight against us. We're going to fight back. But then there's going to be tribes and heathen that's not going to want to fight against us. They understand who we are, and they're going to become our tributaries. That law still stands in Deuteronomy. Right? But think about how wicked Amalek was. Esau, being the king of Esau, the head of Esau, how wicked he was. The Lord just destroyed the Egyptians, a great enemy and oppressor to the children of Israel. And here you are coming out in the wilderness to come destroy the babes and the weak ones and the old ones and our cattle in the rear. So he's had that mindset since we've left Egypt. Amalek did that. when David went to go to war with Amalek, Amalek set up a decoy, and David and his men went out to go fight them, but David was deceived by Amalek. Amalek went right into the city, and what did he do? Captured the women and children. And David's army was going to stone David for that. David's men ripped out their beards when they heard that the city got taken by the messengers. And they was going to stone David. No different than when Moses bringing Israel to a brook that was bitter. They're like, Moses, what the hell you doing? Did you come out and drink from this water, man? You know, black people. Moses like, Lord, once again, you got me jammed up. Lord said, Moses, throw this branch and this tree, cast it into the river and into the water, and I'm gonna make it bitter. I'm gonna make it sweet for them to drink. And it was a miracle. And everybody said, you know what, Lord? That was a good, Moses, that was a good idea. Okay, you good with us? Then I mess up again, no? Right? That's how they was. David said, I encourage myself in the Lord, going against Amalek, because Amalek is a real enemy in the crossway. And Amalek is doing it again. He's got black men focused on the wrong things, while he's got his hand on the household, the women and the children. He's behind welfare. He's behind these implants like Ice Spice and Sexy Red and Beyonce, Independent Woman. He's approving these songs that they're stirring up in that cauldron pot and mystifying music and putting sorcery and spells on our women. He has a hold of the women and children while the men are in the wrong fight. But David said, I'm going to encourage myself in the Lord. That's Esau being in the crossway. So when you go into the word crossway, it's parak, which represents a crucifix or a crossway or a crossroad. They're doing that to this day. Hey, you want wealth? Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, NWA. Who just saw Flavor Flav singing the damn I had to comment. I don't like doing too much comments on IG and stuff. I don't like to get involved with just arguing with people. He sang the damn national anthem. I put, what happened to Fight the Power, brother? Because Esau stood in the crossway and Flavor Flav been sold out, because now on MTV you see Flavor of Love. But what happened to Public Enemy, #1? Now you channel 54 VH1. The hell happened, Flav? Oh, Jimmy Iovine and them stood in the crossway. Hey, Flav, come on. Public Enemy, come on. You look cracked out. We can give you finest models. We'll set up New York again, season 2. This time we'll give you hoops, maybe Delicious. Who knows? Right? I've had Delicious. We all had Delicious. Right? Delicious. Look, you'll get a night with her. They're standing in the crossway. Okay? No different than here come Yahawashi fasting and praying in the spirit, right? Understanding before he goes out, he's fasting in the spirit to go on his mission. Here comes Satan. I'll give you all of this. Trying to stand in the crossway. The devil, i.e., the dragon, the serpent, Esau today, prototype Cain being prototype Esau, is performing the same tricks. Okay? So when it says, neither shall have you stood in the crossway, that is what he's saying, even on a spiritual level. Anytime we try to come out, here he comes to guide us back into his pit. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape.
See, that did escape. That's on us. Remember what the scriptures say, all them that have escaped of the nations, talking about the sheep of Israel. That means you overcoming this world. But Esau got our people mind warped. But here he comes, standing in the crossway. What do we say what do we always say Now, when you go into the 60s, right? Because the 50s, man, you had athletes fighting to make a statement in the ring, right? You have black men that was protecting their homes, dying with shotguns, with You don't hear about these men in history fighting off men when they just earned their rights to their land and got more acres than the white man. And here come the white man jealous that this brother got a business. He's educating black people. He got a house, wife, kids, cattle, etc. Here come the Ku Klux Klan, right? Coming to take it from him with violence. And he's trying to defend himself, and then they execute him for defending his land, right? Lawfully, he can do that, even according to the Bible. But this is what Esau has been doing. So when it says to cut off those that did escape, every single time in the 50s, there was fighting in the sports arenas. The 60s was the age of Camelot. They put Martin Luther King, Malcolm X in the way. Black people said, no, 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 no. We got to escape from this. They gave you two people to choose. 70s came up. Well, let's try to push these hippies in a way. Free thinking, acid, right? That all went back to that Teeman, Wiseman, LSD project, MK Ultra project, right? In 1980s, crack. No, rappers. We got a new system, right? In effect, where we could set up entertainers, rappers, right? To be thugs and criminals. And that will benefit the prison system. Did they go in the crossway to set up a stumbling block for them trying to escape again? Get them drugged out. Now you see it today. Our people can't even identify the stumbling blocks and the snares. That's why the scriptures say that my people are what? Snared in holes. Because Esau keep on setting up stuff in the crossway. Every time we try to escape and take the right direction, here he goes with another method to get us further and further in the depths of our demise. Right? Go ahead.
Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
See, you didn't deliver those that were left over. You see our people today in distress, and you didn't deliver them up to the Lord to live up to the reputation of who they are as a people, priesthood, princes. I got to tell my kids every day. Sometimes I drive my kids around the hood and I just say, look at even our people in this destitution. We are princes. Last week, I was so frustrated and I was just speaking in the spirit, man. Two of my sons just started crying because they began to see the excellency of our people, man. They begin to appreciate their father and the knowledge that they have, and the children of their kin that don't have it. They tell them in school that we the Israelites. You see what I'm saying? That's how we're supposed to rub off on one another. Right? And so because Esau didn't deliver us up to this understanding and deliver us up to the freedom, just like Pharaoh, that's why the scriptures say in Jeremiah that there's going to be a cry heard in the Red Sea, meaning you're going to be as memorable as Pharaoh and his armies because you didn't do this. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
All. Go ahead.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain.
And that's what they're doing. They're drinking upon the Lord's holy mountain, flaunting around, parading around to be his people. And you drunk on the Lord's mountain. Go ahead.
For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually.
See, all the heathen is going to drink continually because all the heathen came in. Ishmael, Esau, them damn Ethiopians. I seen a video of the Ethiopians going in there in with the 1950s, 60s. Y'all drinking on the Lord's mountain. I seen damn Cambodians going in there talking about they the lost tribe of Manasseh. Let alone they're kicking the brothers and sisters that came over in the 60s under Ben Ami, they kicking them out. Saying you got 60 something days. Why nobody praying for the Israelites over there? Why nobody talking? Why is Jake over here praying for the Palestinians and the Israelis, and they're kicking your people out, and you have made no mention of them? They still homeless. They still gotta go. Who's gonna open their doors for them? You think America just gonna open their doors for them and write checks for them every month like they did the Ukrainians? No, like they did the Hamites. They got cities in Vermont that are packed with Africans. I'm talking about them type of Africans. America taking them from Africa and bringing them over here, and they're living in places like Vermont and New Hampshire. White people are like, we gotta get rid of these Africans. But guess what? The government is funding them to live here. Why are they not funding us? And we built this country because Esau is our enemy. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been.
Go to Jeremiah 30 and 11 real quick. Ezekiel 39 and 12 through 14 really quick. I remember we're only going to read through verse 17 in Obadiah. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 11. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee.
See, the Lord is going to make a full end of all nations. Now, don't be like them Israelites that's going to say all the heathen going to die. No. Esau was prophesied to be no more like the Sodomites. But when he says a full end, meaning their rulerships, they're not going to be prime ministers, sultans, princes, right? It ain't going to be Prince Charles. His kingdom and his nation is going to be made a full end. There ain't going to be no Chinese empire. Ain't going to be no Chinese dollar. Ain't going to be no Chinatown. Ain't going to be no sake, hibachi. Ain't going to be none of that. Right? We are going to be the nation that are going to have an everlasting world. And the full end is going to be to those nations, right? So that's just pursuant to Obadiah verse 16, Ezekiel 39 verse 12.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39, verse 12. In 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them.
So 7 months, we know 7 means completion. So that's just going into a certain dispensation of time of it's going to take an extensive length for these people who are just going to simmer away in this war, whether dead from assault rifles, rocket launchers, the Lord's laser beams coming, nukes, whatever. Right? Intercontinental ballistic missiles. These people are going to have to get buried. Right? Go ahead.
That they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown. The day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord God. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers, those that remain upon the face of the earth.
You see that? So those that remain upon the face of the earth. So the full end is their kingdoms and their power is going to be taken. Remember, Yahawashi is going to take the crowns from these rulers and these nations. Right? But those who are left over are going to be brought into captivity. And those kings, even who are left over, when you read Revelation 20, they're going to bring the glory into the holy mountain of God that they stole, their wealth. And all of it, according to Isaiah 60, is going to be converted to us. And the Lord says, our hearts shall fear. Meaning, all of this power committed to us, all of this glory committed to us, yes, to the 1/3. Right? Go back to Obadiah, verse 17, we close out.
This is Book of Obadiah, verse 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance.
But upon what?
But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance.
Shall be deliverance. That's when we're going to be delivered. White man ain't delivering nobody up. Right? But Yahawashi is going to deliver us. Go ahead.
And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
See, it shall be holiness, and we're going to possess our possessions again. What belongs to us, we are going to have that again. Okay, so thank you, Esau, for holding on to our stuff for so long as a trophy, but that's all coming back to us. So you got any questions? Any comments, observations before we close? Put a 1 in the chat if you were edified on tonight's lesson. If you got clarity on the general sense and the spirit of how we must conduct ourselves as you see the world moving together as the fall of Esau is being rolled out. Did everybody understand the mind that you have to have in this tribulation? Come on. All right, come. All right, with that, I want to say shalom to the chat. Barak. I love y'all all. Everybody, look. I say that y'all create prayer groups. Create prayer groups. A lot of brothers been calling each other. The sisters been calling each other throughout the week. Let's keep those things continual. Let's remove all malice, jealousy. Let's remove it all from our hearts. Play a position. Play a role, sisters, in the home. Play a role, brothers, in the home. Something gets too hard or turbulent for you, you know you got brothers, you know you got officers, you know you got captains, you know you got elders to call on. But first call on the Most High. He's your 911. You know when you call your appointment and it's like a medical appointment and you just calling to schedule an appointment? If you're having a medical emergency, call 911. If you know that what you're going through and you can't get in contact with us, call the Lord. Okay? You know how to get to him. All right? Bahashima Mashiach Yahawashi. All right, let's
This is Psalm chapter 126. When the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like that tree. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. And they said among the heathen, the Lord had done great things for them. The Lord had done great things for us, whereof we are glad. Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. In the name of Yahweh, Hashem Yahawashi, the water Yad, Aman.
Aman. But wait, before we do the salute, we know Elder Gawara's up here. So we're gonna salute him first.
I Maghrib Shabbat. I Maghrib. Barak. Yahawashi outside.
All right, now we close out.
I Maghrib Shabbat. I Maghrib. Barak. Yahawashi outside.
Y'all about to outside Barakathum.
Damn right.